Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachah, Kwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule well. Honors and salutation to the hopeful elect. Before I go into the lesson, I want to give a testimony of a dream I had that led to this lesson. And for those with the short attention spans, I'm just gonna, get to the dream first, because I know a lot of people ain't gonna make it through the lesson. How Jake is. So in the dream I had last night, and if you're not a spiritual man, just click off of this, man, because it's not for you. So in the dream I had last night, as you can see, this is the third chapter. A statement made famously by, King Masha, whom I truly believe is King David through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yashai. So to the dream now, from everything I can remember, it was an old, it's, now that I'm thinking about it, man, I believe it was the elder brother Karab had sent a video of the high priest Ahrayah breaking down, the 12 tribes. And come to think about it, the room in that dream looked just like that room. Come to think about it. So, I've done the lesson earlier this morning, but, I said, you know what? Nah, man, I got to redo this, man. So in the dream it was Apostle Tahar, but it was like, it was a spirit. It was a spirit. It was Apostle Tahar's spirit, but it came in like in a form of an old lady, who was weakened, and I was holding her, and I picked her up, and I carried her up the stairs into the room where High Priest Ahrayah was, and I believe he had on a white garment. I believe it was a white garment. I want to say white. And I had to bring that spirit before him, which was the old lady. And like I said, for some reason, that spirit was Apostle Tahar's spirit. Which, the word Tahar means what? Pure. And wisdom do come in the form of a woman. And when I brought that spirit before High Priest Ahrayah, a man, it was a dark-skinned Jake. Kind of looked like Chauncey from Menace to South Central. The Jake kind of looked like Chauncey, but a little more weight on him. Had like the same type of haircut. Now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of things is coming back to me. So when that man, which I presume is an angel, took the woman from me and placed the lady before High Priest Ahrayah. Now she grew. She was still old, but she grew and she was able to stand. And High Priest Ahrayah, he had a very lively spirit. He was really lively, man, in that dream. Almost like, he was renewed or refreshed, man. And now the lady, she gave him some money, and she said something to him like, I want you here. And she gave him some money, and he didn't take the money like, yeah, I got some money. He took the money in all humility, and then he had left. And something happened to that room. Like I said, it was that room that he was in when he was doing that lesson. And something was happening in that room, and there was other men there. And this is extremely spiritual, because when I'm gonna go into the lesson in Zechariah, which I'm looking at right here, and it says, wait, let me see. I believe it's in I'm looking for the verse right now. And Lord, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt judge my house, and shalt keep my course, and I will give thee a place to walk. Right. Let me go to verse 7. Like I said, there was a lot of other people in there. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shalt keep my courts, and I will give thee place to walk among those that stand by. And those that stand by was talking about the other priests, the other prophets, man. So there was other people there, and so something happened in that place that we all had to get out. And I remember we got out the place. There was other things happening in the dream that I'm not gonna mention those things that happened. But when we went outside, it was like I said, it was a group of us, and the woman, she kind of looked at me, and she was she was thankful. She was thankful, and she was standing strong. She was standing strong when she got out the building. Like I said, she wasn't small no more. She was taller and stronger. So, and like I said, that was a dream. So what I take that as is, which I truly believe that, High Priest Ahrayah is Joshua the High Priest, coming back in the reincarnation, and that he will, the Lord will remove those filthy garments from him, and, now's the time where, I'm going to, do the lesson. I'm going to go through all 10 verses in the third chapter. When I first came into the camp, me and the brother Shaman, who's actually my blood cousin, when we first came into the camp together, it was a Urim of Truth camp at the time, and the elder apostle Rakah, he pulled us to the side. Actually, we were standing outside the camp, and he came amongst us, and he started talking about this. I think he started talking about King Marshall first, and we were like, we believe that's King David. And then he started talking about the third chapter, and we already knew, like, we didn't know the in-depth breakdown on it, but we knew Joshua the High Priest was High Priest Ahrayah. We believed it, We couldn't break it down to you at that time because we were just we wasn't even in camp yet. We were listening, and he broke this chapter down to us, and it was like, yeah, man, yeah, man. The Apostle Rakah, man, he went through it with us, man. It was like, it was beautiful. It was a very beautiful thing, man. That the Apostle Rakah did for us through the Spirit. Which was very very motivating through the Spirit, man. So, all right, now I'm gonna get into the lesson. That was the vision I had of High Priest Ahrayah, in that white suit. So without further ado, so he says, this is Zechariah, and I'm gonna go into the commentary, which is, which, as I was, studying this earlier, it was helping me out a lot. And I'm also gonna, pick out precepts, from my Bible, which I have in front of me. So it says, and he answered me and said, and Lord willing, this lead to edification. Zechariah 3 verse 1. And he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, Satan. The Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord Yahweh that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Right, man. Now, when you go into when you go here in the NIV, it says, the Lord rebuke thee, Satan. The Lord said to Satan, the Lord rebuke you, Satan. The Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Is not this man a burning stick snatched from the fire. Right, man. So the Lord is saying, I saved this man from the, from the hell that he was going through. So get out of here, man. This is one of my men. This is one of my chosen men. Now Joshua was clothed in filthy garments and stood before the angel of the Lord. Now we know that the filthy garments, represents this truth, and I'm gonna get let me get this real quick just to prove a point. Matthew, the 22nd chapter and the 11th verse. So it says, and when the king came to see the guests, he saw there was a man that had not on a wedding garment. And he said unto him, Friend, how comest thou in hither? And it said hither, not having a wedding garment. And he was speechless, right? So this is a man that didn't have the truth in him, the understanding. This is a symbolic thing. The garment here represents what? This word, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Then said the king, which the king is representing Yahushua, Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into utter darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Right, and that's times such as Jacob's trouble. The Lord's just gonna cast them type of guys away, man. That aren't right in the spirit. Okay, so back here. Now, when you go into the commentary here, which is let me see, commentary. This is King's commentary. So it says filthy garments. It says God's spirit, and this might be a lengthy lesson, so God's spirit does not hide the fact that Joshua is clothed in filthy garments. The Hebrew word for filth, the word for filth in Hebrew is a word that indicates that filth of most filthy and disgusting kind. So this was a very detestable thing to the Most High. And it gives you precepts here. I want to get to the point first. It says, as mentioned before, God cannot condone the sins of his people. Joshua, however, right, the scriptures tell you that the Lord's eyes are too pure than to behold wickedness. Joshua, however, does not stand before Satan in those dirty clothes, but before the Most High. It says, it is written, it is, as it were, an acknowledgement of his filth, that is the people acknowledge the guilt of the dirty state of the priesthood. So that's what the filthy garments represent, man. It says Israel was saved from exile, but as a priestly nation, it was an unclean people. The priesthood has been tainted by a long stay in a foreign country. Come on. Right, just like here in Babylon, the minds of the people is all fucked up, man. It says the after effects of which can be seen or again be seen. The priesthood is not exercised in the way the Most High wants it to be exercised. Heathen elements made it unclean. So just like right now, High Priest Ahrayah is in that unclean state of mind. Calling that nigga, that fat black nigga, the God sent comforter. Going off into that into that IUC, whatever their fucking school was called, man. So that's what the filthy garments represent. Basically not being in the right mindset. Going off according to the scriptures. Philosophy or other philosophies that you ought not to be into. That's what the filthy garments represent. It didn't mean his clothes was fucking ripped up, dirty, and stinky. It didn't mean that. So now we got an understanding of that. Now, verse 4, it says, he answered and spake unto those. Oh, and just to put it out there, I had met High Priest Ahrayah, in person. And there's a little testimony about that before I continue. I met him in person. The first time, it was around 2013, 14-ish. And I was doing security work in Harlem, 125th. Listen, this man. I was doing security work in 125th Harlem, and oh no, this nigga just threw me off now. Oh yeah, I was doing security work in 125th Harlem. You know, in a store, and he had walked in the store, and I saw the what do you call it, man? I saw the jacket. He had like a Gaditis jacket, man, and you know, with the fringes and all that. The apostles to heart, or the apostles. You brothers know, if you hear this lesson, you know what I'm talking about. And he had like the cowboy hat on, with the little boots. He kind of dressed like Apostle Ricard in a way, man. How Apostle Ricard be dressing sometimes. And man, I ran as soon as I zoomed in the camera on it, man. I said, oh hell no. I ran down the stairs, man, looking for him, and I couldn't find him. I couldn't, man. I went into the other stores. I'm leaving my damn job, man. I'm leaving my desk just to see this man. I was like, oh, no way. So I couldn't find him. So the second time now, I was going into the bank. I believe it was a Monday, because I get paid on Mondays. It was Monday I get paid? Whatever, man. It was one of my paydays. I believe it was a Monday. And I went uptown. And after I came uptown, I'm back in Harlem again. This is the Chase Bank. There's a McDonald's there now. So I walked in the Chase Bank. I'm walking in the Chase Bank. And as I'm walking in, he's coming out. And, he's holding the door for me. And then my eyes lit up. I'm like, yo, no way. I'm like, High Priest Ahrayah. And he smiled, man, and just gave me a hug, man. He just gave me a hug. Like it was like a hug, like, for somebody, like, it felt like I knew him. It felt like I knew him, man. The way he hugged me, it's like a family reunion. And I felt the love, man. That was so much compassion that man had. And, I told him, I said, hey, man, Apostle Tahar, man, he's always talking about you, man. He's always saying good things about you. And he smiled. When I said that, he smiled. Like, I didn't expect him not to, but it was a smile out of sincerity, So, I told him, I forget exactly what we were talking about. But then he said something to the extent that, I should come down to the school. He pointed down to Comfy School, which was like a block away. And I said, you know what, High Priest? If the Lord have it that I come down there, I'll come down there, man. And, shit, I ain't never went down there. So we hugged again and we left, man. And that was my day, man. And I believe also, I don't remember how long from that, but my cousin Shaman had ran into him as well. That brother could give you a testimony on that. I don't really remember how it went, but I know he had met him too. And I believe Apostle Tahar had ran into him. So that's spiritual, man. Prayer, which my name means prayer. Shaman is oil. And Tahar, Apostle Tahar, means purity. You pray, you anoint with the oil, and then the man becomes pure, which I think that's all spiritual, man. So, just a little side note. So, where was I now? Okay, verse 4. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, take away the filthy garments from him. And unto him he said, behold, I have caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with a change of remnant. Right. So the filthy garments was taken away by the holy angels that was standing before him. And it says that he said unto, behold, I have caused thy, which and it shows you that the filthy garments being taken away is speaking about what? Forgiveness of sins, man. The Lord forgave him for the sins that he committed in going off. Now, verse 5, and a change of remnant. Like I said, man, when I saw High Priest Ahrayah, in that white suit, man, he looked good, man. He looked happy. He looked happy and healthy, man. Strong. He was still a little bit. He looked around the same age as he was when he was breaking down that video of the 12 tribes, and he was moving, man. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was moving. He was jazzy. It says, verse 5, and I said, let them set a fair. And now the I here is speaking about, as a scholar, when you go into what the scholar said, the I here, when I said, it's talking about Zechariah. Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head and clothed him with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by. Now let's look this up. Let's go into the commentary of what it says. Now it says the prophet I here is not the Lord, but Zechariah is involved in this scene, which makes sense, and so aware of God's thoughts that he makes a request to which the angels respond. He says they must put on a clean turban, which is a mitre, on the high priest's head. Is there also a willingness to help with us to help, so that our brothers and sisters can return to the holy fellowship of the Lord? The angel of the Lord is standing by. All this takes place in his presence as proof that he is in complete agreement with it. The clean turban on the head suggests that Joshua and in him the people have a new thought about the priesthood, thoughts that are in accordance with the Most High's intent of it. So that's what the mitre, the fair mitre, represents, man. Being in total accordance with Yahweh's word. This is all, it ties in, and it all makes sense, man, when you really think about it. When you if you have the understanding. Verse 6, and the angel of the Lord protested unto Joshua, saying, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then shalt thou also judge mine house, and shalt also keep my courts, and I will give thee place to walk among those that stand by. The other priests. And like I said in the dream, there was other men, in that dream. It says here, O Joshua, high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant the branch. Now, who's the branch? And the Lord did say what? He made us a spectacle. People from far and wide always want to, inquire what are these men saying? What are these guys doing? And now it says he shall bring forth his servant the branch. For behold, the stone, which is another name, which is another title, These are two titles for who? For Yahweh Shai. Now from here we're gonna go to give me 1 second. I believe it's Isaiah 42. Yes, Isaiah 42:1. So let me go there real quick to the book of Isaiah. It's gonna help break down, the branch. 42:1. It says, behold my servant. Now it goes that word servant again, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him, and he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up. Nor cause his voice to be heard. It's like, let me read that again. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall not be quenched. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. Now going back to my servant, and it's speaking about who? Yahweh Shai. Let me show you this real quick too. The branch. Go back to the branch. Someone's at my doorbell. Bear me 1 second, brothers. Yeah. And that's the spirit, because Apostle Gabar had mentioned an olive oil to buy, Belucci olive oil. And that's what's being delivered right now. Hey, bro, everything's spiritual, man. Everything is spiritual, man. That's how you got to take things. That's how you got to take things. So, or it could have been that. I believe it's that. Excuse me. So now, you go to the branch here. It says a sprout, a growth branch. It says, now let's use Occam's razor here. A sprout, shoot of the Messiah. Of Messiah from the Davidic tree. And when you go into Matthew 1:1, Yahweh Shai was what? A descendant from David. So that branch is going into Yahweh Shai. That's who the Lord is talking about. It says, for behold, the stone. Bear with me 1 second, brothers. Who is it? You got it back here. All right, thank you, bro. I'll get it in a second. Bear with me 1 second, brothers. Just want to get this package real quick. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now let me just check, be 100% sure this was indeed that olive oil. Yep. Apostle Gabar will smile if he he listens to this lesson. It is my Belucci olive oil that just came. That's the spirit, man. So, back to the lesson. Back to the lesson now. So Yahweh Shai was a direct descendant from David, because it said the Mach. It says a sprout, shoot of the Messiah from the Davidic tree. Matthews 1:21. So it says, for behold, the stone, who's talking about Yahweh Shai again, I laid before Joshua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. And that's talking about what? The 7 spirits. Now for that, we gotta go to what scripture was it? Bear me 1 second. Where was it? I think it was, yeah. Bear me 1 second. Yep. Revelation. Let's go to Revelation, the 5th chapter and the 6th verse. No, it wasn't that. Yes, it is. It says, and I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, Yahushai, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of the Most High sent forth into all the earth. So now we have an understanding of what, those 7 eyes are. In the scripture it says, "Behold, I will engrave the graven, I will engrave the graven thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove iniquity from the land in one day." And this was like a foreshadowing of Yahushua being on the cross. So that's how the iniquity was removed from Israel, the blood of Yahushua. And that's why Revelation said it saw a lamb as if it had been slain. That lamb as it had been slain was Yahushua, when he was on the cross. It says, "And in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall ye call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the olive tree, under the fig tree." And I believe the vine, this is speaking about peace and sincerity between Israel. I believe the vine represents peace, and under the fig tree represents righteousness. So I believe that's what it is. Matter of fact, no, let me go back into it. It says, because I don't want to. Okay, the vine, speaking of joy, and the fig tree speaks of righteousness, right? So, which clearly, makes a lot of sense, brothers. So, Lord willing, this was a very edifying lesson. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yashai, Bashem Rakha Kodash. Much love and respect to the Most High and our Lord Yahweh Shai, Duwada, for the understanding, of this book, of this word, man. That's so deep, man. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, our teachers, that taught us well through the Spirit, man. So, in honors and salutation to the hopeful elect that are out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity. With that, I'm going to say shalom.